Well, welcome to How to Turn Money Stress and into Money Success. So the lovely Sherry is going to be talking to us today. Most of you who know me who have been doing some work together, and so my name's Michelle, the Money Mentor, and traditionally I focus on money mindset as well as financial planning. And the reason that I wanted to bring Sherry on today is that there is a huge flaw in the typical budgeting scenario. So even in as financial advisors, the old way of doing things is to work out your expenses for the year and what those averages are, and you start putting those into place. However, timing is the biggest issue, because let's say you're just putting a certain amount away for week one, and all of a sudden you've got a $400 bill and you've only put away 100, and so you're automatically in a back pedal. So I have gone through Sherry's 30-day online program, and I absolutely loved it, and so I wanted to share it with everybody here. Now, we do have a couple of prizes. So there is from myself, Money Mindset audit, which is a 40-minute audit, and I'll also go through your Sacred Money personality type. So that is a one-on-one session with me. And Sherry, if you'd like to tell them what your lovely prizes were.
Yes, so mine will be a one-on-one session with me. It's about an hour and a half, and we will go through and create your essentials only spending plan for 2022. Now, normally this, and anyone else who's interested in it, you can just contact me, because it's $20.22. So it's not really expensive, but it is great value for you to see your essential costs only. That's your bare bone basics, and see it for the next year and how you can. And it just gives you a great example of how the software works.
Yeah, I think.
And then for anybody else who attends, you get access to my 30-day course, which in there also leads just to a 30-minute money chat, if you're interested.
Very exciting stuff. It's I think one of the biggest causes of financial anxiety is not knowing what's coming up and are you going to have enough in reserve. So yeah, I'm really excited to
exactly
share all that with us. Okay, all right. So if you would like to, so I'm going to use I was going to use the lucky spin wheel.
Yes.
I've got this. Oh, we've got Mary here. Okay.
Hello. How are you?
Hello. How are you?
Good, thank you.
That's good. Welcome. We were just starting, so I'll just quickly repeat what I just said briefly. So Sherry is going to be talking to us about how to go from money stress to money success. And the reason that this is so valuable is, as a financial advisor, the typical budgeting scenarios of working out your 12 months worth of expenses, and timing is what the issue is. So Sherry was just telling us about some amazing prizes that she is going to offer. And I've even got like a digital wheel to actually draw a prize, which I come across. So it's really exciting. All right. Okay. So I will hand over to you, and yeah, take it away.
Okay. And just confirm the time that I have so that I can.
Because we did less of the intros. Actually, you know what? If it's okay with you, because I've introduced myself and so have you, and because we are all about collaborating and supporting each other, I might just give Barbara and Mary the opportunity to also introduce themselves and
definitely
what they do. Yeah. Who'd like to go first?
Okay. I'm Mary. I started a business in 2019, Noir Bird Studio, which is millinery and textile art. The end of last year, a contract finished with work. That's outside of that. And I'm currently looking for work, desperately looking for work.
Yep. What sort of work were you doing before? Textiles, was it?
I was working in schools, but I've got a finance background, so I'm looking at sort of getting back into that world. I don't care at this point in time, seriously.
Well, good luck, and I hope that you, get some skills there, or maybe you could, look at doing your own thing, your own business in that area.
Hi, I was trying to unmute before. So yes, my name is Barbara, and I am a pregnancy and childbirth coach. So I help women to have a good childbirth experience. You know, we talk about decision making, choices, and options in pregnancy and birth. And yes, that's not what I've been doing all my life. I was in corporate training and like hospitality corporate training as well. And the thing is, me and my husband, we have a plan for work, in our budgeting, in our life, in our finances, which was doing contract work and earning money. And then I found my passion, which is what I do. So life changed a lot, but yeah, that's it.
I wish you were around when I had my babies, 28 and 22. I was 22 when I had my first one. So I was 21 when I fell pregnant, gunshot wedding. And I was like so stressed being young and just having absolutely no idea of what to expect. So yeah, absolutely valuable service there, I think, for women. That's awesome.
Thank you.
All right. And Mary, I wasn't sure if you caught what it is that I do. So I'm a money mindset coach and financial advisor. And the reason that I am so passionate about that, because I know Sherry and Barbara know my story. But after my divorce 6 years ago, I lost not only a 7-figure business that I had with my ex-husband, but the home I bought as a single mother prior to meeting him, and all that come about from him cheating and having, midlife crisis. But the lessons that I learnt was that due to unhealed wounds prior, I was making stupid financial decisions, knowing they were wrong logically. But when we love somebody, and if we are a nurturing type of money archetype, we can go along with those decisions knowing that it's wrong. And so what I'm passionate about is helping other women avoid that scenario, whether or not they're starting again through divorce or any other reason, if they've found themselves in a situation that they need to rebuild and start creating financial freedom on their terms, and that can't be taken away from them. Okay. All right. Okay. Over to you, Sherry. I'm going to mute myself.
Okay. And so just tell me when you want me to finish, approximately.
30 minutes.
Okay. Excellent.
Yeah. 30 to 35.
Rightio. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen. Okay. So you should see happy spenders. If you can give me a thumbs up. So I am a happy spender. I am a genuine happy spender. There's two happy spenders. There's ones who love just to go spending, and then they come home and then they're not very happy afterwards because they have that regret. I'm a genuine happy spender because I plan my spending, I save for my spending, then I happily spend. So I never have any regrets. If you want to check out my Facebook page, it's Happy Spenders Beyond Budgeting, because that's what I'm going to talk to you about today, is going beyond budgeting, because budgeting only takes you so far in money management. And I'm going to take you in that, continuing on with that missing vital dimension. Okay, so what is a spending planner or spending mentor? A financial counselor is when you go to them when you are unable to meet your debt obligations. And then there's the other end, which is the financial planner or advisor, when you have excess money and you want to prepare for your future. And then there was that big gap in the center, which is the spending planner. And that's for those, most people, and we all are in this area at one most of the time, living day to day, or we have some debt, or we don't, or we have some savings, or we have no savings. It's the day-to-day managing of our finances. And there was no one there for that. And so that's where I come in, is I help the everyday person. First of all, I'm an educator. I'm a finance educator of the things you should have been taught in school about money. And then I also have an awesome tool that helps you manage your money very easily and have it a silent partner, so that you can then move on to going to that financial planner and achieving your goals. So first of all, the first thing I say to people is, whether you're here and you're you struggle with money or you're actually good with money. If you struggle with money, it's not your fault. And because you were not taught in school, none of us were taught in school. And so it's so easy to overcommit. And especially if you use a budget, because a budget doesn't have all the information, you can easily overcommit and not realize it. So you simply don't know what you don't know. And so that's what I'm going to help you, is tell you something that you don't know that can change your financial life for the positive. So yeah, we weren't taught money in school. And I even talked to employers. They're the ones who actually pay their employees. And so they would be wise to actually teach their employees how to be good with money, because then they will come less often to them for a raise because they've gotten into so much debt. So mindset, when I first started to teach mindset 5 years ago, when I started my business, that was one of the first things I taught. But then I quickly realized that once we got into the software and they saw their truth, because it shows you your money truth, it's not guessing like a budget or saying, oh, it's possible. It literally shows you. Once people saw their truth, that changed their mindset. I mean, I had a girlfriend who was a shopaholic, went shopping at least every other day, had clothes in her closet that had all tags on. And when she then saw the truth of what she was actually doing and what she could use that money for instead, totally changed her mindset. And so, yeah, so I'm really big on teaching you and showing you your money truth. Then I teach you the second principle is to be honest. You have to be honest with your money truth. Excuse me, and honest with your partner, if you have one, honest with your children, honest with your peers about your money. Because, you know, you can fake it through life, but that's will affect your mental health, your physical health, and everything else. So honesty, truth and honesty is the best policy. So the number one truth that I teach, which to some people comes as new revelation, is save first and spend second. Avoid debt, and you can avoid debt. I saw a billboard on the way to the airport once, and it said, spend now, save later. And I'm thinking, no wonder everybody, and we see that so much with these buy now, pay later things, that's becoming quite normal. But I actually teach a very high level of, or a deep level of honesty. And that is, if you can't buy it or pay cash for it, then you don't deserve it. You're not entitled to it. Now, of course, there is an exception with buying a home, even though I've known people who've paid cash for a home. Other than that, all those things we want, we need to save before we get it. And if we do and don't get into debt, then we will have the money for those things we need. And that is the first priority, is the things we need. So are you sticking your head in the sand and not being honest in your spending habits? Okay. And all of us have been guilty. You know, we go to a shop and we hand over the card. Well, this is Medicare card, but that won't get me far. But and you tap it and you think, oh, I hope it goes through. And we buy things and then we go home and figure out where we're going to get that money from. Okay. I swap that around. We need to know where we're going to spend our money before we go out and spend it, and make sure we have planned for it, save for it, so that we can spend. So we need to get our head out of the sand. Keeping your head in the sand about your finances is not making it better. It's only making it worse. And so come out of the underground, come see the light, and look at your money truth and be honest. And it just feels so much better. And also knowing what it really costs you for your day-to-day, you know, I know generally how much it cost me in water in the last week. That money is already sitting in the bank because I've used it. Okay. And so it's and the software does that amazingly for me now. But yeah, if you've used a service, then you need to have paid for it. And then there's those unexpected, unplanned costs, which a lot of us easily put our head in the sand about. But that's where that financial piece comes, when you really admit, know the truth of the costs that are coming up today, tomorrow, in the future, in 10 years, and make a plan for them. So I basically teach people to be financially self-reliant, and that's so that they aren't reliant even to their employer, as well as the government. And so as we saw in 2020, a lot of people and a lot of businesses went under because they were just living paycheck to paycheck. And so we need to have a plan that if things unexpected happen, you are ready for them. So nothing's unexpected in life, including death. So we need to get our head out of the sand and have a plan for it. Okay, we're going to spend our money this year. If you make 100,000, you're going to spend 100,000. Why don't you make sure that it's at least what you want to spend that 100,000 on, not just like the wind where it's just going to decide. Have a plan for every dollar. I talk about the needs, wants, and really wants. So the first thing I talk to people is about what are your real needs, and that's the first thing we actually put in the spending plan, is know what your basic cost of your needs is, because that we want a number that we times by 3 if you work for an employer, or 6 if you have your own business, that you can put away in the ultimate emergency fund, or what I call the COVID fund now, because that's if you lose your job or you get sick, you have money to pay at least the basic cost for 3 months. If you lose your job or something like that, all the luxuries go away. You just know, but at least you'll have that peace of mind that your basics are paid for. We then have to have a really want. What is your why? Why are you here? The fact that you guys are here on this or listening to this recording is because you have something you want that you don't have yet. And so you have to have that why so that you will make a change. Because if you continue in the direction that you're going, you are going to arrive at where you are going. Where you are going, is that where you want to end up? Or do you want to arrive at a different destination? If so, then we need to alter our plan. So if you don't have a why, if you don't know what your needs are, you will waste a lot of money on what you think you want. It's that here and now, the coffee here. Oh, that's a cute shirt. Oh, this. And because you don't give every dollar a job, you can easily have money leaking out, as well as not calling your service providers on a regular basis to say, hey, will you give me a better deal? Because they are not going to call you and tell you, hey, guess what? I can give you a better interest rate. Yet I can come to them as a new client and get a bit better interest rate than you. So they are not loyal. We need to ask. And so there's lots of different ways that we can plug those leaks in our spending. So I talk a lot about lifestyle. The life costs are your essential basic ones, which most people stop after food, shelter, and transport. But I go a lot further. We have to have money for the unexpected. We have to have money for any repairs or replacements of things that we actually need, like a fridge or like your car. We need to have some savings for those times. For example, I hit a kangaroo just before summer, and it damaged my air conditioner. Now, the kangaroo, unfortunately, didn't have insurance, so I had to use mine. Luckily, I have an account that has things for that type of stuff. So I was easily able to do that. Well, for someone else, that could have been a huge stress. They would have had to take from their savings or put it on credit. But because I know that things are going to happen unexpectedly, I have a plan for that. I get my head out of the sand. Also, retirement. We are all going to get old. So we need to start as early as possible making plans for that. So those are all the life costs that I have in my plan first, before I even look at my style costs, because those are essential. If you're a parent, those are essential. It's your responsibility to make sure that your kids have all their life costs. It's not about their style costs. Okay. The biggest life cost that we need to give our kids is time. It's time. That's what they want from us, not stuff. Even though they ask for stuff, they're usually just asking for stuff because they're not getting what they really want, which is time with you. So your style cost is something you decide what you can afford after all this life stuff is And including in the life is your savings. You have to, we don't just work just to pay bills. We want to get what we really want. So first things first, life costs, then style. Raise your hand if you have a budget. Okay. And my question is it working for you? Does it bring you peace of mind? And so today I'm going to introduce, well, first of all, I stopped budgeting 19 years ago. In 2003, this was my family, and we went to the US as our first time as a whole family. Prior to that, I usually went every year and a half with my baby. But we saved. I was on a budget back then, recorded every cent in Microsoft money. I was quite tight with our money because I had a big why, and that was to go home and visit my family. They hadn't even met most of my kids. And so we did that, and I thought, there has to be a better way. At that point, I was adding up all my bills for the year, dividing it by 52, because that's how my husband gets paid, and put a certain amount. I remember it was $250 a week I would put away. But sometimes when the bills came, there wasn't enough in there because a budgeting does not use timing. It misses out on timing. And so it's guessing. And a lot of times it guessed wrong, and I had to figure out where I was going to find the money. That's when I found the spending plan system. And then 2 years ago, just before COVID hit, Christmas 2019, all my 5 children, and there was 4 grandchildren at the moment. Now we have 6. We all went as a family and surprised my mom for her 80th. All my children have spending plans. The younger ones, they could see that if they had a goal and they had a plan and save, they can do anything. Where most of them would say, oh, I can't afford to do that. We have a young family. They all did it very comfortably because they just had a priority that that's what they wanted, and they didn't waste their money on other things that they thought they wanted. So a budget is, I give the analogy of going to the mountains to go skiing. Okay, so up ahead is where we want to go. A budget is likened to the rearview mirror. If you were to look in that rearview mirror and try to get to the mountains, what's going to happen at that first curve? You're most likely going to crash. Okay, we want to look out the windscreen and look into our future spending so we get to our destination. Spending your time looking in the past and counting and tracking where you spent your money in the past is not going to help you get to the mountains. Yes, there is a purpose for seeing what you spent in the past, but it's very quick. It's a split second, basically look back, learn that quick lesson, because I've never heard anyone say, I should have spent more money last year. It's always, I want to do better in planning my spending in the future year. So a spending plan is all about the future. The past is the past. Every day is a new beginning. And with the plan, it's alive as opposed to a dead budget, which is 2-dimensional. This one is alive, and so it is living and taking you into the future. So budgeting is broken. A traditional budget is comparing income and expenses. It shows you it's only possible to pay your bills. It's guessing, but it does not show you how. Okay, so a common budget usually starts with income at the top and goes down. And most budgets that I see, they never account for all really the things that we account for in a spending plan. They have their head in the sand and think of that, if that's the only thing that's going to happen, where's the replacements of things? Where's the repairing of things? Where's the hitting the kangaroo? There's nothing in this budget that even covers that. So the things that I talk about, and it's lacking timing. So again, it's just saying it's possible, but really it's useless information, can only get you so far to the mountains, and that it won't get you there. So a spending plan is a 3D budget. It adds in that missing third dimension. Yes, it does have income and expenses, but we focus more on expenses rather than income. Because as we found in 2020, that expenses did not change the fact that you lost your job or you went down to the $1,500 fortnight. Your income can change, but your expenses are generally the same. So we need to focus more on how you're spending your money rather than going out and getting a second and third job to cover it. So a spending plan adds in a third dimension of timing, which makes all the difference. And when I found this system, totally eliminated and like I said, I was good with money. I was tracking, but it made me so much better. And in that time, I raised those 5 kids. I was a stay-at-home mom for 27 years, went on multiple trips home because we had our spending plan and everything worked well. So a spending plan is like having your future, like a crystal ball. And my business name is Essential Spending Planner, ESP, because that's actually what it does. It gives you ESP into the future of your future spending and your future bank accounts. And then it also shows you how. It doesn't say, okay, it's possible. It actually will show you how, like a GPS. So basically the difference between a budget and a spending plan, you can see on the left. On the right, it gives you 100% clarity of your future spending. You will know you can cover all your bills for the next 12 months. You will have financial peace, and very quickly, even after the first 1 or 2 of putting it in there, and you will resurrect those buried dreams, because you can see now that you can really have anything you want if you have a plan. Nothing's just going to fall into your lap, but you have to have a plan. So it is a cash flow system for your personal finances. Now there's 6 ways, and this is how I cover everything and why we get our head out of the sand, is there's 6 ways we all spend our money. So anything you spend will be in one of these 6 ways. The first one is weekly expenses: food, fuel, fun, and incidentals being those teeny emergencies that are like under $20. Then we have our regular bills and our regular expenses. Okay, we all get our hair done, we all go to the gym, or whatever it is you spend your money. We all have birthdays that we do, and they're regular and predictable. We also have things that we need and that we want. It's at this point that people put their head in the sand and forget they have to repair those things. And then eventually they have to replace those things. And so that's when they start putting things on credit. Or they go straight to the once in a lifetime thing and do those fun things, let's travel. And then they realize, oh, I can't pay my electricity bill. And so again, there is priority in everything, but there's these 6 ways that we spend our money, and we need to have a plan for every one of them. So I teach an effective bank structure, and it protects your money from you, because no one is going to come and steal your money. I had someone rob us probably 33 years ago, and when we first got married, but they only wanted that little square TV, those chunky things. They didn't take it. I mean, we didn't have money in the house, but even if we did, they were out for that and the video player. But have I ever stole from myself? Oh, yes. You set a plan, you have these good intentions, and you steal from yourself. So I teach an effective bank structure that protects your money from you, because we are the ones that sabotage our financial future. So I'm not going to go into it, because I want to show you some snapshots and give you a little quick into the software. But there's the 6 ways we spend our money. You'll see that each of the accounts will accommodate for one of those. Okay, and so we have our main bills account, and the software does all calculations. You'll never have to use a calculator again. And I was terrible at money in school. And so this is why this works good for me too. But we have a separate spending account, which is your FFFI: food, fuel, fun, and incidentals. I teach a 3-pig story. And of course, the big bad wolf comes, but this account is to protect you against him coming. Then we have to get our head out of the sand and realize that we have to replace things. Things actually need to be replaced. So like a washing machine, I got mine 6 months after we were married. We will be married 34 years on Thursday, and it's still going. I've had, though, money for about 20 years sitting in my long-term savings replacement account for that washing machine to be ready. And so as soon as that goes, and I'm just going to let it literally die, then I'll go out and buy one. But I've had that money. And then there's your emergency fund, which is when you lose your job or disability or illness that you can't actually work and bring in funds. So anyway, I go a lot more detail into this in my courses. And but it definitely does protect your money from you. Now, we have 10 minutes, so I'm going to give you a briefing on the software. So it is an online web-based. You can only get access to it through a certified spending planner. It's only $10 a month. And we've just opened up a new service where you can even just get straight on in for $10 a month. But it is different from a budget because everyone's been conditioned on budgeting the past, and let's put away a little bit this week for that bill and then a little. We do it differently. It's is that bill due? How much do you need? It does all the calculation for you. So basically you have all your account lists. Now, as you can see here, here's all these ones that I recommended. Okay. And some people want to have his and hers. They want to have their own little personal spending account, which is fine. Then we also list any loans that you have in here as well. So even if you have multiple banks, we simplify your bank structure because usually you have a lot of people have a savings for just the electricity bills or the rent or those big bills, where we keep those all in the one account because they leverage off each other. But yeah, we have all your different loans here, everything, and it's one place that you see all your accounts and all the balances, as opposed to having to log in. And so it's a great place to see savings grow, debts go down, and that. And so the things that we put in here, we put in once. So I did this 19 years ago. I created the spending plan. I put in electricity. It's whatever it was back then. That's where budgeting stops. This is where the spending plan continues on, but because we add in timing. How often does that happen? If you're doing a regular traditional budget, you use a calculator a lot. And then if your income is different one time, then you have to go and recalculate everything. There's a lot of people say, oh, I have an Excel that does that. I've had people come to me and say that, and then they see the system and they go, okay, no, this goes further than Excel. And so it asks you how often and what's the next date you're going to pay for it. If this was a budget, it would say, when did you pay for it last? Let's track your spending. No, we don't care about the past. It's gone. And so it's what's the next day you want that money available for that money, for that job. Okay, so then this is our bill account, which is where majority of your stuff goes, other than your, let me go back. Other than your food, fuel, fun, and incidentals, that's in its own account because those are the areas that we can overspend. We have to protect all our bills and regular expenses in its own account. So you basically go in and you add in all your expenses. Again, we have those three things that you enter in. Then it creates this beautiful spending plan for that account. So every account you have in the spending plan, it will create its own crystal ball for and its own GPS for. So say this is the bills account. It's predicting the future and shows you how to pay your expenses. So every day you see a line, a green line, that's the balance at the end of the day after income or expenses has gone out. Okay, so green is good. But as you can see here on this day, something tried to come out and there was not enough money. And here, this was the biggest amount in the whole year, which was $934, but there wasn't enough money. So that means that I know that if I can start this account with $934, then it's going to take away those reds. Plus, there's a benefit in seeing a red in the future because it hasn't happened. The spending plan is all about the future. You can make a change now and make adjustments so that it does not. So that's why I'm saying I've had no financial stress in the 20 years when I was a stay-at-home mom raising my 5 kids because I had the spending plan. I know and that's what I teach, is this was a timing problem, not a money problem. A budget would have said you don't have enough money. That adds stress. This was, no, it's just the timing. Maybe a bill, you just need to rearrange just initially that bill to come out the day after your pay rather than the day before your pay. So, but that's a one-time thing. Once you create your spending plan and tweak it, then it's just that silent part and it just works. So how would you feel if you knew all your bills and expenses, that's for everything, all those 6 expense types were covered for the next 12 months? Raise your hand if you think that would feel pretty good. Yeah, it does. I live this. I've been doing this for 19 years, and so I'm proof that you can do this. I'm proof you don't have to get into debt for things. We've never had debt other than our home, which we paid off very quickly after we got the spending plan. And now we have an investment. And we have lots of savings because it helps us do that. This is the dashboard of this software. So if this was a budgeting software, this would say that last year you made $85,000 and you spent $57,000. You also put $25,000 into savings and you had $2,500 remaining. This would say this is where you spent your money last year, but this isn't a budget. This is the future. It's showing you this is where you're going to spend your money from all the information you put in and where you're going to spend your money in the future. So that if you see a pie piece and think, oh, that's a bit too much, it hasn't happened, so you can make a change. Okay. It also tells you what your ideal balance should be of any of your accounts on any day. So you're not having to track. All you're doing is just looking and saying, okay, yep, I actually have $2,200 in my account. It gives you choices. Then you can take $200 out and put it somewhere else. Go and take the kids, out to dinner or to the movies, or if you have debt, let's put that on debt and pay that off quicker. So that is the power. With the spending plan, we give every dollar a job. Every dollar that comes into the spending plan in your income, we give it a job, because if you don't, it will go walkabout and you'll waste a lot of money. So this person has close to $9,000 remaining. Then we decide, what are we going to do with that? We're going to put it in our savings so that we get what we really want. Okay, again, you're going to spend your money this year in 2022. You're going to spend it. Let's make a plan to spend it how you actually really want it to be, so that we are never the victim. And I hear a lot of people, oh, I can't afford my bill. But it's because they had those priorities wrong and they didn't have a plan. So what are the costs you are paying due to a lack of financial literacy and or money management system? People who do my course, and one of mine is an 8-week course, a group course, and they save more or double of what it even costs, and it's very affordable, because if we don't have a plan, we just are kind of just spending. Now I'm going to just show you one piece in the software just before I kind of finish off. So here's the software. Here's the account list. I'm going to take you into the long-term savings, or into the bill account. So this is the main hub this is your main account. This is where all your wages come into. And at the moment, there's only the essential costs in at the moment. Again, remembering the essential cost is putting money into their big bad wolf, to your emergency fund, to your long-term savings, to your savings, and to your FFFI. Those are essential before we start putting in all the other stuff. And you can see here that in the plan, this person still has $400 to give a job. And so we give that a job. And so it's really powerful in that. But I just wanted to show you the long-term savings and how that works. So here's a list of things that you could need to replace in the next 10 years. And these are essential things, not wants. They're essential. I've just put in a few: driver's license, battery, passports, things that we just don't even think about. But these are things that you have to do. They're not annual. like we have in our bill account, they're over 12 months, that they come due. So you put the information in here. It will then tell you how much you need to put away each week into this account. Again, it does all the calculating. And here I've put in $10, which is fine. And so you'll see here as we go through, there was a purchase of something that was due. And then there's another one, but there was always the money there. The money's always there. And so if you can imagine putting all more things in here, it will tell you how much you need to put away. Okay, and so that's why it's really important that in your bill account that we take care of the first things first, our life costs, the basic expenses, and those other areas which really make you get your head out of the sand. And so my favorite quote, multiply your time and money by giving yourself emotional permission to invest time and money today for time and money tomorrow. I did this 19 years ago, and it takes me like 10 minutes a month to do my finances because we get paid monthly. It doesn't take long because I've already put in that effort. I know where I want to spend my money. And and so basically as a spending planner, I give you access to the software because you can only get it through a spending planner. I help you literally hold your hand to create your spending plan through my online spending plan course, as well as workshops. And then I also give you accountability because I want you to achieve your goals in that. And so all of you will have a free gift, 30-minute session with me. And it's about time, literally. And if you join my Facebook group, you'll be invited to have my welcome gift, which leads you to the 30 days free session. And then some lucky winner now, which Michelle will do that now, will win that one-on-one spending plan system. So what you've seen in there, I will create that for you. You'll just submit me those basic informations of those basic costs. And then I will print you out reports because there's reports throughout the thing, and do some screenshots so that you can see what it looks like with just your basics, and imagine what it would be like if you can put all your expenses in there and the peace of mind that it will bring. And that's it. I will, sorry, I went a few minutes over, but that's, I will stop sharing my screen and take any questions if anyone has any, or just turn it back over to Michelle.
I had a couple of questions.
Yes.
So does it sync with, say, your bank accounts? You know how, like, on your bank app, it'll show you, like, a certain amount in accommodation, or, you know, because it goes rent, or do you manually enter everything?
Neither. This saves you time. Budgeting takes a lot of time. This is a plan. Let me explain it this way. Whatever home you're living in, there was a blueprint or a plan to build that home. So someone created that plan, a draftsman, and then the architect looked at that plan to say, yep, if you build this house, it's going to stay standing. Then it was built. The spending plan is the blueprint of your finances.
And not the past, yeah.
That's right. Yeah. It's not the past, so there's nothing to feed in because it's not about the past. And the only account that you're really carrying around, or a card, is your FFFI. That's your spending. You're not carrying the bill account card around because that money has already been allocated. So you don't really need to see where you're spending. It's just if you put in $300 a week in your FFFI, when it gets to zero, you just stop spending. It just simplifies it. So so basically the blueprint is the software you put it in. I'm the architect that looks to make sure it's all right and that it's perfect. It's like that virtual life. And then once it's perfect, we get your actual financial life to follow the same as your plan. So any major choices or spending, you put it through the plan first to see if it can work. Where generally people now, they just go and buy that car and then they come home and think, now, where's the money coming from? You're always going through your plan.
I think this is great also for business owners, because a lot of...
it is. I use it for small business owners.
Yeah, especially solopreneurs. Well, actually,
Yes.
not even especially solopreneurs. Business owners that focus are good at generating revenue. Oh, we need to get more sales. We need to increase our sales, and it's all about the revenue and ignoring their margins. And
Yeah.
then
And what
same with
happens
your
there
personal
is
finance.
exactly. So I work with someone, we do their personal first, because we first put in your life costs, including what I consider life costs. Then we put in your style. It will then tell us a number, how much you need to pay yourself from your business, which is totally separate. So then you have a separate spending plan, $10 a month for your business. We put in your basic costs first. When I look at small business owners things, they have so much style and they can't even afford, they're not even bringing in the money to pay for their business, let alone their personal. So you get those four numbers, and the only interaction between the two is your business every week or every 2 weeks, however you do it, pays yourself. That's it.
Yep.
But they are totally separate.
Yep.
Yeah. And if you have investments, it's perfect. We have investments and it shows you quickly that you're making money on it. And that's it.
Cool. Okay. So Barbara and Mary, if you would like to pop your email name and email in, if you'd like the offer there that Sherry had with that session.
I'll put my
Pop that in the chat.
group.
Just email if you like. Yep, and then Sherry
In
will
the
be
chat.
able to.
Yep.
And then one of you, while you're doing that, I'm going to try this cool new little toy out.
And then there's the link for my Facebook group in there. So that's the place to be. I'm doing a free information seminar at 12:30. I do a live in a half an hour. So on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, I have regular things that people can come in and learn more as well. So, but everything's on my Facebook group.
Just going to share my screen. So this cool little toy. How cool was this?
I'm excited to see which version you have.
It's the wheel of names that someone gave me. So for online ones, and you just put the names up here of who the contestants are.
And you have a pretty good chance, Barbara and Mary. You have a 50% chance.
Look, you even got all the whiz-bang things.
So just remember to share your screen once you get it up.
Oh, wasn't it sharing when I did the wheel then?
No.
Oh. Well, I can't do it again because then if it comes up with a different result, it's not fair.
Well, we don't know what the results were, so it doesn't matter.
No, it did it. It was Barbara.
Oh, was it? Oh, okay. Sorry.
That's what I just said. Yeah, look, I'll do it again. You might have to give away two sessions then, Sherry.
I am happy to give 2 sessions. If there was 30 on the call, that would, be a bit.
That's
that
different.
I would be happy to do 2
I know, yeah, but seeing as there's only 2, so right. So I've got share, right?
Yep.
Can you see it now?
Yep. There we go. Yep.
Okay. So this is what I did. There we go. How cool is it though? Look. Oh, goodness.
So, but yes, I'm happy to give both Mary and Barbara a free basic essential spending plan for 2022 demo.
Awesome. Okay. So did any of you ladies have any questions before we wrap up?
It's not a question. It's more a case of I used to do budgeting and understood the whole downfall of it. And then I was fine. And now that I don't have work, it's more a case of, okay, last week, it was a case of, right, starting from scratch. Do you know what I mean? As far as what have I got coming up? What do I need to account for? Yep. Which is very much like what you're talking about, the program is looking at in the future. And that's what I've always had, is had the accounts separate to pay for whatever. But having a program, programs to me, those sort of go, oh, do I have to delve into this? Is it too much of a
No, it's
problem?
very simple compared to budgeting software. It's very simple. And that's why I, like I said, you can just get straight on the software, but chances are you will need some training, and I have different varied services. I mean, like my 8-week group one, which is an hour and a half every week, day or night on a Wednesday, is only $497. And so and plus you get some one-on-one in there as well. Plus there's other ones as well that I have that are less than that. And so it's more the mind shift of stopping and thinking budgeting installments to what's the full amount and when does it need to happen. It does all that for you. And so, and, I work with 17-year-olds who see that they're not getting taught in school. I have retirees who have their retirement now and want to make sure they keep it. I work with pensioners who have very little, who it just helps them. It gives them that security, that financial peace that they can cover everything in the future.
Thank you so much for that, Sherri. That was just, I think it's invaluable, that tool, both for both personal finances and businesses.
Yeah.
So I think we'll share I'll give you obviously the recording, and because there was a few people that were really disappointed that they couldn't come this morning. So because there was like 10 that were interested. So there's probably some extra leads there for you of people that might like it. Okay, so I'll send you
the best place to find me is Happy Spenders Beyond Budgeting, and I will help you become a genuine happy spender, and that will even lead you to the 30-day course, as well as a free 30-minute session with me, just to find out more, as well as you two ladies get your essential plan created.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, and I hope you ladies enjoyed it. And anybody who's watching the replay, when you get that, then I'm sure you're going to get great value out of it as well. Alrighty, so it'll probably be 2 weeks. We're doing another online event with I'm wondering whether or not I might do mine in 2 weeks, and then I've got some face-to-face ones coming up as well. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you so much for coming along, and thank you, Sherri. That was just amazing. Barbara's saying, can she invite some friends?
Yeah. So I'll just tell you. Yeah. So in a half an hour at 11:30 Brisbane time, I go live, and I have pre-recorded. Usually I have them live, but I have pre-recorded one of my clients. So that's a 30-minute interview of where they were at before, when they're budgeting, the benefits of a plan. And then at 12:30 till 1:30, I think it is, every Tuesday, I have just an information session. So you can just come on and ask questions, and I can go over some things. And then I have that again as Wednesday night at 6, every Wednesday. So because I get lots of inquiries, and my voice, with COVID, I have a long lasting thing, which is my voice and my throat. And so it just saves me from
repeating.
So join us shortly on my page and any other time. And please invite your friends.
Excellent. Okay. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.